Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a powerlifting talk show that will probably talk about powerlifting today.
Maybe, yeah.
There's things moving.
We're going to graze the edge of it.
I don't know. I got
Kinda.
a couple things.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Because I came in with nothing and I found this one thing. So
We'll lead with yours maybe, and then I'll lead with mine. But some of the things are, people always talk about it. And I wonder about weightlifting or even other sports, like what the internal talk is about growing the sport. And then, why do you want to grow it? Like, what's the end goal?
What's the end game?
Yeah. Is it money? Is it to make pro athletes? Is it the Olympics? And I wonder if that's a reason maybe why weightlifting doesn't necessarily seem to try to grow, because it's kind of already on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
And although it's not, the richest sport, which we talk about another episode, like gold medals and what they get paid or stipends per country. Other countries probably make a full-time living and celebrityhood doing some other more obscure sports in America. But powerlifting, it seems like a lot of people want it to grow. We've had multiple guests on and had this as a topic. They either want the Olympics or, maybe they want the athletes to be able to make a full-time living, which I think is kind of silly in some sense, because then it gets into a deeper, WNBA versus NBA talk or whatever, where, if the demand of sponsorship and viewership is just never going to be there.
Yeah, NBA, NFL, MLB.
Yeah, even soccer.
All those started off with people having regular jobs in the off season.
That's true. I think even as the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
There's stories of, I forgot who, I think there was a fullback or somebody in the NFL that was still a lawyer or something, or UFC.
Yeah.
Stipe was the world heavyweight champion and still working a fireman job. And that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And he probably made enough money doing both. Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting. Because to me, the ultimate goal, and I don't know if the Olympics should be the ultimate goal either. What makes that so cool?
I think it's increasingly less cool.
Yeah.
Over time.
And if you look at other sports, they don't care.
No.
For soccer, the World Cup's way cooler. For football, obviously the Super Bowl. For basketball, still, if you're not winning an NBA championship, no one really cares.
Right.
There's an ego involved, and there's a nation pride, and I think that's cool, but...
And the Olympics are just far too expensive. I mean, it's difficult to make money hosting an Olympics because of the infrastructure you have to build.
At least we're going to get trains for it.
At Vegas?
Everywhere.
Oh, everywhere?
Yeah. They're doing, not Amtrak, but what's the other company out here? Pacific Railway? They're trying to get us from Sac to the bullet train in middle of nowhere, wherever it is, Modesto. Or,
Merced.
Yeah. So they're trying to connect those, which is kind of cool. At least we'll be able to get to L.A. by train, and 70% of it be bullet-y. Then they're going San Diego to Seattle for it, and I think that's all Olympics and World Cup.
Actually, speaking of bullet trains, I saw a video from the UK. It wasn't even a bullet train. It was just a train going fast. And you really have to stay, if you're on the platform, you have to really stay far away from the track because...
The wind?
Yeah, it creates a vacuum behind it. It will suck you toward the rails.
That's funny. So
if you're too close.
I just saw an Instagram post, and it kind of made it condescending towards Americans, and it was probably an American posting it. Japan actually cares about their people or something because they drop a gate before the train takes off, a huge roped gate.
Oh, interesting.
From the platform to the train, but it's probably for that reason.
Yeah, because they have bullet trains.
Where our trains don't go fast, and they accelerate slow, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's not that we don't,
and people still get pushed in front of
Just
them.
don't be dumb enough to jump out there, or drop your cell phone or some shit. You always hear videos. I think the bigger news for powerlifting is one, we talked about it. Powerlifting America, or IPF, whichever one it is, got that contract with CBS ESPN Group or ABC NBC ESPN
IPF,
Group, which is obviously huge, and they're going to cover a bunch of things. And again, who knows what the end goal is of any powerlifter wanting to do things. But I think just even pushing the exposure level should be the ultimate goal, right? To get more people involved with the sport that you supposedly love or care about or want to do. And then where it goes, it's kind of like creating content or creating anything.
Yeah.
Is where it goes, the world decides. You don't decide. You
Yeah.
know, like you can't say like Olympics is the goal or let's get all our athletes to get paid $200K. Like, well, that's a cool goal, but let's build like foundational things that make it cool, expose more people to it, and then they decide if they want to get involved, right? But the biggest one, and I think this is probably, and I'm a hater. I'm a natural born hater. I think probably the coolest move I've seen for powerlifting. Powerlifting America has partnered with the UFC, and they're hosting meets under the UFC Fight Pass. And I'm not sure, don't quote me. I think it said June 28th already. They're having a meet.
'Cause their nationals is coming up, right? Isn't it? I think.
No, just passed.
Oh, it just
IPF
passed.
World's coming up.
Oh, IPF.
But and I'm not sure if it's the same week, but UFC's been doing it for probably 10 years now, 8 years. UFC International Fight Week, where they have a huge week of expos and different things.
Yeah.
But them accumulating jiu-jitsu, which is huge. We've had buddies fight on that, which ends up on UFC either pay-per-view or their Fight Pass. Obviously, the Power Slap is the same idea. And now it seems like they've added some kind of contract with Powerlifting America to the same
Interesting.
boat. Yeah. Yeah, and so I don't know exactly the details. It was posted yesterday and announced yesterday by Powerlifting America. But I think it's cool. I'm definitely going to go. It's in Vegas. Bart's even, I don't know if I could leak that. Bart's talking about going with me. And so we'll see. Yeah, I don't think it's a qualifier for anything. I don't know. There might be money on the line for it. I forgot what the exact details were. But if it's International Fight Week, I think that all just makes so much back-end business sense, front-end marketing sense. Like the demographic in the arm wrestling world, powerlifting, strongman. Like if I'm UFC, I'm tapping into strongman somehow. I'm hiring someone to do some shit. And you get all these kind of like mini hobby leagues underneath the big UFC one, but there's different ways you can, co-market and co-brand in between those things. It seems like a no-brainer. We've talked about in the past, where does powerlifting belong, and we've mentioned X Games over our many years of podcasting, or Olympics, or WWE. There's these niche like worlds that powerlifting is more popular now, but it is kind of a sport for misfits, and it's not the main three American sports. So yeah, how do you fit that in to gain some traction and like-minded folks? And I think that's the world. Like, Power Slap is interesting because it's the opposite of powerlifting, right? In the sense that everyone watching is not participating, or
one hopes,
right?
yeah.
At least 99%. Like, where powerlifting is probably 90-10 the other way. Again, in person's a little different because you're gonna have families and friends interested in Johnny in college competing, so they'll come support him. But anyone watching any live stream of powerlifting or interested in any meet is often a powerlifter themselves.
Right.
So that's a little different. Arm wrestling, I'd imagine, is maybe 50-50, just because it's kind of unique. It's kind of cool because everyone knows what an arm wrestle is. You've been doing it since first grade, so that's kind of unique. And then power slaps, obviously, just like a shock factor, but no one's, besides like maybe some frat boys or something, are like trying it on the weekend or something,
Yeah. I don't know, man. After having dealt with this concussion situation, the idea of somebody slapping me, I like that. I would
get knocked out.
I would there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
There is not a way on earth that I would do that.
The rules are crazy, like, because you're not allowed to flinch. Like, there's a lot of penalties and shit.
You get 2 for flinching. Is that the?
I think it's like a point. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should get a double hand. Yeah, I think you get like I think you get like 3 strikes. I don't know. I've been watching it. I don't fucking watch anything.
Not appeal to me. But yeah, no. This concussion thing took a week and a half.
Yeah.
For me to feel like normal again.
Yeah, heads are sensitive, man.
And
It's rough.
the thing I didn't understand before, a list of things I didn't understand before. I mean, I've gotten bunked a couple of times before, and it was never like this. Is for the first couple of days, I was like euphoric. You know how like if you get sick and then you feel better, it's like, oh man, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I'm practically euphoric. It was like that. It's like, why am I feeling like this? Like, am I just like, is it a manifestation of me feeling lucky that it wasn't worse, or what the hell is it?
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and honest to God, that is a side effect of concussion syndrome, post-concussion syndrome, is just feeling euphoric, and it has something to do with the part of your brain that's hit. So I looked up where I got hit, where it was hit.
Yeah.
It in the parietal lobe, the part that validates sensory experiences, like somatics.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's why I felt so good. I injured that part of my brain. It's not acting normally.
Yeah. I know dream state is pretty common. I felt similar after my concussions. You go like a team dinner afterwards, like we always would any basketball game, and everything like felt like fuzzy, like a dream,
like a dream or a movie. Yeah. So this Powerlifting America thing, the specifics are introducing the Powerlifting America Ultimates Showdown.
Yeah, which some other series they announced too recently. Yeah. That's I assume to compete with the USAPL Pro Series.
Your first PA meet to receive a signature sanction, whatever that's
what it is. That's their pro. That's supposed to be their pro
signature. Ultimates Showdown will be held at the UFC International Fight Week as part of the Ultimates Invitational. Tentative schedule: the 28th of June is women's open raw and equipped, 47 to 63 kilos. Men's open raw and equipped, 59 to 83 kilos, and June 29th, women's open raw 69 to 84 plus, men's 93 to 120 plus. No qualifying total required.
Yeah, but it says invitational, so I don't know if those are
literally invitational,
or they're just setting up for next year. Because obviously, like we went to Keiko Classic in Fresno, and that was like a 40 lifter meet PA, and they all said that was one of the biggest Powerlifting America meets yet. So I think participation in the pool is just smaller for now. But again, I think this is one of the coolest, at least branding moves, early moves that powerlifting's ever done. Yeah. And so if you want to up your participation, it seems like a no-brainer. We've obviously seen a very big shift to Powerlifting America as it is the path to the IPF just this year. They've only been around 3 or 4 years to begin with and split with the USAPL. But it seems like whoever's in charge there, at least has some kind of marketing foresight that other people haven't had. And I'm honestly just impressed. And me and Bart were talking about this yesterday. The fact that they could get any type of stamp approval by the UFC or partnership based on the participation numbers they have, which is nothing, based on the dollar amount that they're worth, which is probably nothing, based on only being around 3 years. Like it's super impressive to me to get even that conversation started, let alone completed. So props to whoever's leading this world. I mean, it may turn out to be a shit show. Who knows, right? The future is uncertain, but I think it'll be cool, and I think the idea and the handshake that made this happen is highly impressive.
The top 24 lifters for each day of the event will be chosen to lift in the signature sanction portion of the event. So essentially,
like a prime time, yeah, which is cool. And who knows, right? Next year again, when the skill gap is there and they have more members in the federation in general, it might be a full invite, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably where their signature series is going. But that makes me want to compete. Like like if you want to compete somewhere,
yeah,
you don't want to go compete at International Fight Week in Las Vegas with the UFC and you're probably lifting in the MGM or some shit. Like that's fucking cool. Yeah. Like it finally made it cool.
Who's Nats are that weekend?
June 28th?
Yeah, there's somebody.
I have no clue.
Wish I could get a refund from a certain nationals that same weekend. Somebody
maybe USPA posted. Or something.
Maybe
that's often in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean USAPL September. It might be Worlds. I doubt they would line that up, but Worlds is very soon.
Yeah,
for IPF, it might be June, July.
And my only connection to it is just watching Lane and talking about it.
Yeah, where are they? Not Lithuania. Where are they headed this year? Romania.
World?
Yeah, I forgot. It's somewhere.
Well, I thought you said it was South Africa, or no?
No, that was Masters.
That's Masters.
Yeah,
okay.
That's just Masters. So I don't know where that is, and that's different time too. That's like in the fall. Yeah, I think it's cool. Yeah, I don't know the Worlds, but it's probably whatever. It's probably not.
I didn't realize that Powerlifting America had hooked up with Alico as well.
Yeah, they ran their Nats out of there last year, out of Austin, Texas. I mean, everyone runs with somebody. And I think it's probably the IPF connection. Like the IPF probably runs with Alico.
Yeah, I guess that makes some sense.
Yeah, so they probably just funnel through there, whatever partnership that means looks like. And who knows what this UFC one means? Maybe they're not even in the same location. They might be a gym way off in the middle of nowhere, but
Yeah.
chances I bet they're in, because the UFC is often out of T-Mobile, which is the hockey arena, but hockey playoffs are over end of June. So yeah, they might get to like compete in there. Who knows?
It doesn't really say. That's interesting.
And we are soonish, which is interesting. You don't get a ton of info. 6
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how they choose that invite. I guess it's just all the people. I mean, if you didn't make Worlds and you're a top 5 guy in powerlifting America,
yeah,
even if you're not fully prepped, you're probably going to say yes to this.
Probably.
Right? That's what means. That, like, to me, that makes it seem so cool. Like, no other situation are you going to just like drop a training cycle and be like, yeah, I'll go compete. But this is cool enough to do that, which is a rare thing. Like all the other big ones, the Rogue Invitational and all this shit, the CrossFit Games, all these places could have adapted powerlifting, or powerlifting could have approached them, and they haven't. Like those are cool too, and no one's done shit. So props to them. I don't know who it is. Me and Bart were talking about. Bart in particular said it'll be interesting who's made this deal, and then who's going to end up being the Dana White of powerlifting, because that is really what they need. You know, powerlifting needs like a figurehead to run this shit.
It's like Kevin Feige runs Marvel.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Like you need a creative and a pusher that's gonna like make cool shit happen. And so whoever made this happen could be that guy. And they don't necessarily have to be a public figure like Dana White, but
yeah. And the UFC's ownership, they're going through some issues. Not actually the fight portion, but
TKO or whatever.
But Endeavor, they're the parent organization.
Yeah, it's 2KO, right?
Yeah, they're settling off a bunch of stuff because they're having profitability issues.
Well, I mean, they took off. They baked a big old pie.
Yeah,
There's gonna be issues.
Yeah, not only did they buy UFC or they bought the company that owned UFC. They also bought wrestling, UFC,
WWE.
WWE, and but from on that side of the house, but like on the representation side, they bought a bunch of smaller agencies.
Yeah, those are probably the ones failing, because everything I've read, and UFC numbers are through the fucking roof right now, and so is WWE since The Rock took Vince McMahon out.
Yeah,
I mean, he's gone.
He's gone. I don't think it was just The Rock. I think that it was
I don't know,
sexually appropriate stuff.
Maybe
inappropriate.
Maybe. But I could kind of see it happening anyways.
Maybe
because the Rock's clout and power was declining.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and now it's kind of back-ish.
Yeah, not on the movie side though.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think he's ever going to recover on the movie side unless.
Yeah. No. I don't mean recover. He's supposedly there's a UFC movie happening, or Pride, I guess. 'Cause he's playing Mark Kerr, I think, in an upcoming film, which really sounds interesting-ish. That sounds like a role that he's actually made for. But we shall see. We shall see. International Fight Week, folks. I don't know the UFC. Is that the McGregor fight? Because I was looking at tickets of that bitch. Holy shit.
Like 3 bands, right?
Bro, upper deck fucking Mount Himalaya seats were $3,000.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And I like UFC, and I would love to see, it's just something cool about seeing like the greats before they retire, Like I'm glad I've seen LeBron play, and I'm glad I've seen all this shit. I would love to see McGregor fight, but I don't know about all that. I don't know if there's anything I'd pay 3 Gs to see.
June 29th?
Oh, so it is that weekend.
Yeah.
That's fire. Yeah, that's sick. Will be a lot of energy going on, at least. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what the facilities look like. T-Mobile's on the strip, like 100 yards off, and I don't know what hotels are around. I think Caesars. It's right next to Italy, and I don't know what hotel Italy's in. So maybe they'll do it in one of the convention centers of the hotels right next to T-Mobile. I've never been into T-Mobile, but I assume they don't have a bunch of like expo rooms because it is just an arena. And obviously they're going to have the octagon ready for the fights. So it's not like they can just like shove it down there.
It seems like it's probably not in the same facility.
Yeah, but it might be close. It might still have like some UFC branding or money behind it. And same with the expo. I haven't been to the expo, although I've thought about going. And I think that just takes up like a whole portion of the fucking thing. side news, I didn't know California state legislative powers passed like kind of open alcohol capabilities for districts. So basically, I think the first move, and I've heard about it happening here. I think we talked about the Beam district trying to do it, where they would shut off streets and make it like a Bourbon Street or a strip type situation. I heard San Francisco is going to be one of the first to actually put pen to paper and try to make that happen. I forgot the street, but kind of make their own like Bourbon Street, which is cool.
It's kind of interesting. Like I think that being in Ireland and England the first time years ago, like 10 years ago or so, people standing around outside bars drinking.
Yeah, chilling.
Yeah. I mean,
you can get that here if you get a really chill dive bar and the security guard's not like a.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a common. I mean, that's what made Vegas so cool to me as like a young 20-year-old. You just grab a beer and just like start walking.
And then during the pandemic, you could get like takeaway cocktails.
How crazy was that?
They enshrined that. That's still happening.
Yeah,
you can
true.
still do that.
True.
But
and
it's
supposedly not supposed to drink them.
You're not supposed to drink.
What's a brown bag law? Is that a fake law, or is that even not a law?
I don't know. You in terms of like
drinking
covering up your liquor.
Yeah, but like drinking it.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I think that's technically illegal, and it's just like a side quest to make cops not come talk to you, kind of deal.
Potentially, everybody does it.
Yeah, and it's like a typical,
Yeah.
kind of bum type move, but yeah, people do it. Have like a 40 ounce in a brown bag, and they're drinking out of it.
Yeah.
Which just seems weird. Because open alcohol is illegal, so I doubt that makes it legal. But this legislation will allow districts or like streets or blocks to do something like that. Which obviously I'm not actually a huge, proponent of alcohol myself because I think it is not great. But
except when it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's never really been that great for me, but I just think in terms of like environments and like economy and like cool things to do, it kind of adds a nice sparkle to arena situations or concert situations or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I have long since reached the point where I don't understand like, hey, it's the weekend, I'm gonna get drunk. I don't get it. I don't get that.
Folks are tired, I think.
It's like, it's like I want to feel shit for days. I think I'll get really, really drunk.
It's everyone. It's most of America.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's the
I don't
large
understand. And this is not like a puritanical thing. This is purely like what your body feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I think the level of hangovers are. We even talked about it in that genetic thing, right? Some people just I don't think get them as bad. Yeah. And so like if that's the case, yeah, sure. I don't know. I do not know.
I don't drink enough, even when I'm sort of trying to actually feel buzzed anymore. So I don't know what the hell.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go back to the tequilas.
Yeah. I just bought some like very top shelf mezcal that I have not opened yet.
Yeah, that might get you buzzing.
Yeah, potentially. I was gonna, we just passed Cinco de Mayo.
Drink it a Mayo, drink it a Mayo.
Drink it a Mayo, yeah.
Your fake holiday.
Yeah, it's America's fake holiday.
Man, we can't have shit.
It's like Mexican American, right? It's not even like Mexican.
I think there is something like in Mexico. That
Yeah. But it's not like.
But it is American. It's a reason for Americans to drink.
Yeah, it's like St. Patrick's Day here is more of a blowout than it is in Ireland.
Yeah, they say no one parties as hard on Cinco de Mayo as white people.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's probably true. Yeah,
it is so true. Just fucking dumb bitches' excuse to get a margarita. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that at all.
I like a little margarita if you're in a beach setting.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, I mean, frozen margarita or on the rocks margarita?
I'll do both, but probably a frozen deal. Make it a fucking dessert.
Make a slushy.
Yeah, make it a fucking treat. I mean, I don't drink any of that, but if I had to choose one, I'd probably go, slushy on a beach.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. No complaints there.
Yeah. Tequila shot before and after maybe to really make it do something.
Yeah.
And then they shove a beer in it sometimes, right?
Yeah, they can, yeah.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
I'd rather just have a slushy.
What?
Vegas has all that bullshit too. Was it Fat Tuesday? You basically just get like a
Mardi Gras.
Yeah, like a icy on fucking with a little bit of overpriced alcohol. Yeah.
The big boys.
I mean, they do taste good. I get it. I get it. But yeah, imagine that like here. I think it would be cool. Outside of the arena, you bring it up K Street.
Yeah, potentially. Hopefully, it wouldn't cause more trouble than they already have there, but
I just think that because you're going to lock it all down, it'd probably only get better.
maybe so. You just can't loop in Old Sac because Old Sac is too much of a chaos environment.
Yeah. And it's a little more spread. It's uncontrolled.
Yeah.
Right? You need like a strip to control,
Yeah.
like a start and a finish to it, some gates.
Yeah,
Hopefully like police force.
Like when they have events, like particularly like they have food events and stuff like
Yeah.
that downtown, they're gated off, but then there's alcohol sales.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, they
people walk around with it. It's not.
They shut down 3 blocks leading into the Capitol.
Yeah.
Might as well do that. No one's driving on K Street. You're not even allowed to drive on parts of it.
Yeah.
So why not just do it? Yeah, it makes sense to me.
I don't know.
Give some local businesses a chance. Give some people something to do that's hopefully safe. Yeah, again, you add alcohol and you add late nights. There's just always going to be.
Yeah.
But we got issues anyways. I don't think it can get worse.
One hopes not.
Yeah,
One hopes not. But they used to do that wasn't controlled, but they used to do a thing called Thursday Night Market on K Street. And it was super cool. Lots and lots of people. There was like booths and it was like it started off as like farmers market stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was like kind of everything.
I think they brought it back on Cesar Chavez Park.
Really?
In the
It
summers.
was really cool. But then there was just too much like gun violence and
Yeah.
knife violence and gun and knife club
That's why I think if you
out in force.
have to regulate the alcohol and you're allowed to drink on the street, then they're going to have to obviously have security police force.
Yeah.
That would make it slightly, safer rather than it's kind of an in-between where people are
Mhm.
drinking but they're not supposed to. Then you're going to get issues. That's kind of
Yeah.
how Old Sac is. Like, I'm sure people are walking around there, and I'm sure all your guys' cities out there. But it just makes a lot of sense for, like, Sacramento, San Francisco, San Diego
Yeah.
to kind of have a little strip like that. Kind of gives you a reason to go. Then we get the A's jamming for a bit. You get the Kings jamming. You get a casino down here. Now at least there's many tourist reasons to visit.
I don't know if you've seen the irony of the city voting to approve bonds to help build that hospital complex,
Not
hospital medical school complex.
that was Arco.
Yeah, and the part of the money goes to demolishing the foundation of a Major League Baseball park that they started to build there when the Kings Arena was built. The old like Arco Arena was built.
Interesting.
It's still sitting there. Like the whole thing, the whole financing, everything fell apart, but it's still sitting there.
Interesting.
And they're gonna like have a Major League Baseball team in town for 3 years, but at the same time, the like major structural
Yeah.
underpinnings of a Major League Baseball park are gonna get destroyed.
It would be better down here, though.
No, it definitely would
Yeah.
be better down here for sure.
Yeah, I'd rather have them just rip apart our AAA field or expand it or renovate it or make it bigger.
Something. I don't even know if it can be made big enough. I know they can't put decks on it without tearing it down.
Yeah. No, they
'Cause they don't
probably
have the
can't.
support.
They probably can't do anything without tearing it down. Now there's apartments all over. It'll be hard to
Yeah.
expand it, but hypothetically, the
Yeah.
location of that makes a lot more sense.
It's just literally across the river from us.
Yeah.
This is just an aside for us. I might even cut this out because it's anachronistic. But how's our meet doing in terms of registrations? Is it
I think we're like 80% full ish.
Yeah, we're like right there.
Yeah. 80% full. Meet October 19th? 18? 19?
I believe it's 19.
19, Sacramento, California. USAPL, open class only. Little competitive action here at 3rd Street. If you guys are USAPL competitors and looking at it, if you go to the link, 3rd Street BB, it's our Instagram.
Yeah.
3rd Street
BB?
BB. Links in the little bio to sign up. Yeah, a couple spots left.
Since this show is up for next week, it probably be closed by then. But I'm
Maybe.
sure there'll be a waiting
Fingers
list.
crossed.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
It should be good.
Yeah. So that brings us around to the question I discovered on the powerlifting subreddit, and of course now I've screwed it up and I can't find the person's name. So you're just gonna have to live without any shout out, any credit, whatever. The question is this though: what if there were fewer attempts allowed in powerlifting meets, like 2 or even 1?
Yeah. I mean, even like lingo of the game, they say your opener's your last warm up.
Yeah.
And
And who wants to watch that? I would rather you do that in the back.
yeah, it does seem weird if you compare it to other individual sports, like a throwing sport, discus, shot put, whatever, or like a long jump, or other things that are like very individual. Because obviously track and field's individual, but a race you are racing against someone. So if you kind of try to isolate some of these sports that are as close as possible to powerlifting, the difference is you choosing your attempt to me. Right, because shot put, you got 3 attempts just to eat that bitch as far as you can. Maybe your first one's your best, or discus or whatever. Where, yeah, if you get 3 shots, and obviously there are variables which you don't know exactly what you can hit in all these sports.
Yeah. Highland Games kind of the same way.
Yeah, similar, but
So
they
you
probably
get
get 3 attempts, right?
They get multiple attempts, but it's still the best of
Yeah, the
those.
3.
And I think that you might only make the first one. And
Yeah, it's just probably just some ancient shit to choose 3. Right?
Yeah.
Why not 5?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's a long day.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, hypothetically, when you invented these sports in fucking 3000 BC or whatever, yeah, like, why wouldn't it just be 5? And for powerlifting, yeah, I mean, it'll never happen, but I wouldn't be that against 2.
You're all obviously always chasing your best number, but at the same time, you're relying on the fact that your best number is not going to be your first one.
And it, yeah,
right?
And it might not even be that day. Like, the more competitive you get, the chances you hit a PR on platform, an all-time PR, is low.
Right.
Because you're actually trying to compete, so you're trying to just do enough just to beat the other guy. I think the only things that would have to, like, you'd have to start to adjust the selection rules a little bit. Like, maybe the time on them. Maybe you can select or change your weight up until 30 seconds of your attempt or something like that. Right? Like, if you only have 2 attempts and your first one is, like, crazy rough, maybe you get more time to contemplate on your second attempt or something. But, yeah, I don't see a lot of negatives, to be honest. I really don't.
No, I don't either. I think we'd speed things up considerably.
Yeah. It would, and, yeah, I just don't see that many negatives. Like, if you need that many, because you literally get infinite time and infinite control in the warm-up room.
Right.
If all that was limited, or time, or like the logistics of that, like in basketball or something, that stuff's very restricted. When you can get on the court, you only have 10 minutes to do this. And so, yeah, if you're not warm enough for your game, you're going to get fucked. But here, I mean, you just go back there as long as you want.
Yeah.
And you take whatever temp you want, and you're on your own pace and your own weights and your own coach and your own. So it kind of makes sense. And really, like, even competitive powerlifters say that. Like, yeah, your opener should be kind of like your last warm up. So, yeah, why not do it in the back? If we're trying to grow the sport, and part of that is popularity, and part of that is spectators.
Yeah, making it more watchable.
Yeah, and for the people running it, etc. And then, yeah, I mean, if you misgroove, quote unquote, 2 lifts, yeah, fuck you. You weren't ready that day. You deserve to lose.
Yeah. That's misgroove is an excuse and a reason at the same time.
It's kind of a rough and raw lifting. It happens for sure. There's technical breakdown, but that's part of the sport. That's
that's how you lifted the weight right then.
Yeah, you're not gonna. No one ever says that. If you said that in basketball,
yeah,
they'd fucking laugh you off the court. You know what I mean? Like, missed that shot. Yeah, man, my wrist. It didn't flick it right. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. You missed. A miss is a miss. Like, end result's all that matters in sports.
Right.
We don't care how you got there, bro. Golf. They're not talking about that. They can say, like, oh, I had a bad swing. Like, all right, yeah, but you're not saying, like, well, I didn't turn my. But powerlifting, for some reason, the culture is weird. Because no other sport do they do that. Weightlifting, but weightlifting's crazy technical.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, I feel like they do it less. Or maybe they do it talking to their coach. I don't know. Powerlifter's weird. World's Strongest Man just happened.
Yeah.
Repeat by the UK.
Tom.
US sitting in 3rd. And Canadians in 2nd.
Yeah.
Canadians up, man. That's got to be their best athlete all time. Him and Steve Nash.
Potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, him or Steve Nash.
I never looked that up.
Gotta be. I mean, isn't Wayne Gretzky American?
No. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought he's from, like, Minnesota. I might be wrong. Yeah, man.
They probably got some hockey players.
But Wayne Gretzky's the greatest all time.
True.
So they got the, third best hockey player all time?
You're right.
They got Steve Nash, one of my favorite point guards all time. He's probably top 5, top 10 point guards all time. They got Bob Marley's son played on the Canadian.
Bob Marley.
Rohan. I think Rohan was a Canadian. I think he was on the. I don't know if he played in their national soccer league or was on their national team. That's what I don't know. That was Lauryn Hill's Boothang.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was pro soccer, but I don't know if he played. I assume they have some kind of national soccer team or league.
Okay, this is
List of best Canadian athletes.
Sports Illustrated's list of best Canadian athletes. This is a really obvious one that we just skipped right over. GSP.
Oh yeah, he probably wins. Because you could still probably make a good argument he's the best mixed martial artist of all time.
Yeah, 22-2 record.
Yeah, you could definitely argue he's the best.
Wayne Gretzky.
Damn it, he is Canadian.
Yeah, he's
Bastard.
born in Ontario.
God damn it.
George Chavallo.
Never heard of him. Aubrey Graham.
Oh no.
You seen his jumper?
Yeah, I was gonna say you see
Even
him
in
shoot that
the
basketball.
music video.
He lost twice to Muhammad Ali.
That's your
Yeah.
that's your
Best.
yeah. Getting your ass whooped twice by
I've never seen this picture before.
I haven't either. By the actual best.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff is funny. People make a lot of fun of basketball in particular when they say like, oh, like Larry Bird was good or Magic Johnson was good, but they're scoring against plumbers and shit. They always like make that joke,
Right.
which isn't true in NBA in the 80s, but I get the joke. You look at some
Insurance salesman, though.
Yeah, you look at who Muhammad Ali fought in some of his fights, and you're like, fuck, dude, that dude's never like got off the couch. Like some of them look like such slobs.
Yeah.
But then you look at Tyson Fury, who's
True.
one of the best heavyweights ever, and he also looks like he's never got off the couch.
Yeah. Gary Gate, never heard of him. Lacrosse player.
Oh, they gotta have a runner. Not Marion. He got popped. Their big track star that got popped.
Ben
Yeah, Ben Johnson, right?
Johnson. Yeah.
If he didn't get popped, he'd probably be on this list.
Maurice Richard, Hockey Hall of Fame waived the customary 3-year wait in order to induct him in 1961. Not somebody I know. This is a name I've heard. Ferguson Jenkins.
I'm out. Hockey?
Oh no, baseball.
Oh, all
Major
right.
League Baseball. Played for 4 teams in his career. Will always be remembered as a Cub.
Okay.
He won the 1971 Cy Young and made the All-Star team 3 times.
They got some young basketball kids. Shy's from there. Arguably the best point guard in the league right now is Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays for OKC. He probably belongs on the list now if fucking number 4 lost to Muhammad Ali twice as his reigning fucking
Yeah.
as his LinkedIn profile states.
We're missing a very obvious hockey star, however.
I don't know shit about hockey. I wish I did.
Gordie Howe.
Yeah, see, I don't even know. I just know Gretzky.
Gordie Howe played for in the NHL for 5 decades. He played
Damn.
1,797 games, the most of all time. No one will ever top that. Steve Nash, that you mentioned.
Yeah, buddy. How's he so low? Are these in order?
I don't know. No, they're not.
They can't
There's
be.
no number.
Steve Nash is a stud.
Another hockey that we missed. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of Canadian
Yeah.
hockey players. Bobby Orr.
Yeah. Or maybe sounds familiar. I played like one hockey game on Game Boy. So then you like learn the roster, you know?
Yeah.
I think he was on there.
Cindy Klassen, a speed skater.
Yeah. Curling, speed skating, I don't give a shit.
1972 Team Canada, the whole team, NHL. First ever series involving NHL players. Defeated the Soviet Union 1972 Summit Series.
What's the movie Miracle? I was just telling the kids about that.
Yeah.
That's got to be what, late 70s then? They played the USSR.
80.
Is it 80? Yeah.
80, yeah. Mike Weir,
Oh, I know that name.
yeah, PGA,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that's legit. Yeah, golf.
He
I mean,
peaked
they don't
in
have a lot of
2003 when he won the Masters.
They don't have a lot of sun up there. It really
Yeah.
does ruin. But then you'd think like basketball would be harder hitting.
Going
I mean,
crazy.
now Shy is really good. And there are other kids from up there, but yeah.
Another hockey name we missed, Mario Lemieux.
Lemieux, I know.
Yep. Played for 17 seasons, scored 690 goals.
Lemieux, I know.
He's from Montreal, but he played for Pittsburgh.
I think they have a couple soccer players somewhere that have been okay.
Rohan Marley played in the NFL.
NFL?
Apparently.
Mm.
I'm on
Some wiki? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Clara Hughes, another speed skater. Donovan Bailey.
Who's Donovan Bailey? That sounds familiar.
Yeah. one of the stars of the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, winning gold in the 100 meters and the 4x100 relay.
You was going to say you're like gymnasts or something. You think they might be able to sneak in there?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't see the whole list, so I'm just going.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
They're just revealing as I'm
just thinking like indoor sports.
Yeah,
right?
You would think indoor sport. Yeah,
because even like Toronto's pretty south for
Yeah.
them, and it's fucking freezing.
Back to baseball. Larry Walker
Yeah, don't know that.
played for the Rockies. Finished his career with a .313 average, which is not an easy thing to do. In 1999, he hit .379. That's outstanding.
Side note on baseball, I just saw a clip. It's Ken Griffey Jr. Was it Barry Bonds? I forgot who it was. It might have been Young Barry. I don't know, but this fool just Spider-Man's in the outfield to take away someone's home run. Oh, it might have been Albert Bell? Fuck. I forgot who it was. But it's somebody in this,
he runs up the wall, yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
snags it, ends up beating his home run record at the end of the year by 1 home run. Like I think Ken Griffey had like 49, and it might have been Albert Bell had like 48. And then they do like a flashback edit, and he's fucking Spider-Manning up this wall and dislocates his shoulder to catch this fucking thing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Another hockey player, Patrick Roy, not a member of the Succession Roy family. Lennox Lewis.
Okay, boxing.
Yeah, 41-2-1
Yeah.
career record.
Yeah. Lennox Lewis, legend.
He was born in London, but held dual citizenship with Canada, so he's
All right, I guess we'll count it.
Sidney Crosby,
Yeah, I know that.
my son and daughter-in-law used to run on the same track as Sidney Crosby.
That's
while
cool.
he was playing.
Hockey, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that name.
He averaged 35.8 goals a season in his first 6 years.
I don't even know if that's good. How many games do they even play in a season?
I don't know. That's a good question. Not a hockey guy. Jacques Villeneuve, Formula One driver from 1996 to 2006, won 11 of 165 races in which he competed. Gaetan Boucher, I don't know him at all, a speed skater. Back to MLB, Justin Morneau. Spent all 10 years of his MLB career with the Twins, 4-time All-Star, 1-time AL MVP, and that's the end of Sports Illustrated's list.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
No Aubrey Graham.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Aubrey.
That's
Sorry, Bucko. Sit the sidelines on this one.
Crier Media, which is another company that I don't know, has a more compact list. Gretzky, Donovan Bailey, Clara Hughes, Mario Lemieux, Cindy Clausen, Terry Fox. That's interesting. The marathoner.
Oh.
Haley Wickenheiser in women's hockey. Christine Sinclair, soccer player and captain of the Canadian national team.
I wonder if like the
GSP and Steve Nash.
Yeah, GSP is probably their best.
Yeah.
If you, I wonder if it like culturally does trickle down to like people just don't care. Like, do like the average 15 to 25-year-old Canadian just not care that much about sports? Because I feel like just caring is so much to be good, right? Because if they cared, America fucking cares.
Yeah, I think that they care a lot about hockey.
Yeah.
I think they care a lot about hockey.
Yeah.
Just from observationally.
Sure.
I don't know beyond that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
and then like to only care about one sport's weird too. And maybe that's just because obviously we're fucking American and sports are like very important to us.
If baseball were bigger in Canada, there would be some kind of some kind of West Coast team.
Sure.
If the NBA were bigger in Canada, there would be some kind of a West Coast team.
There was for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a team for a long time. They had the Grizzlies for a really long time. The other issue too is they just don't have folks, right? Like
Yeah, they don't have
there's just
the
no people
population is like,
what do they say, Texas or something, right?
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like the whole. So then, like to even have a Steve Nash or a Crosby is pretty impressive.
Yeah, you have a smaller pool to draw from.
But then I guess you reverse Uno card that bitch and freak athletes. If we went through the top Texan-born athletes, the list would probably whoop their ass.
Probably.
No, I'm curious.
Yeah, like Texas football is insane-o. Probably Texas powerlifting, which I don't know if you want to count or not.
Even though like powerlifting.
Yeah,
in general.
yeah, they're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the best. If you look at just Texas powerlifting currently, they're probably best in the world.
Yeah, it blows everybody out the water.
Yeah, and then like Football, obviously. Wrestling's okay. Basketball's solid. Rap game is through the roof. Hip hop roster's nutty. Not as good as the ATL, but they're doing pretty good. What other sports they got down there? Track and field, they're probably nutty. I bet you they got some sprinters and throwers that are crazy. I mean, University of Texas is good at everything. Baseball, I bet you is pretty good. Not as good as California, but I bet you baseball in Texas. And not as good as Florida, but it's Florida, California. I mean, there are a lot of states that just produce freaks, but Florida, California, Texas, probably Ohio, and I'm slightly biased, but it is slightly true, just whip out freaks in like track and field, football, wrestling, baseball, and basketball. I think Florida, California is the baseball leaders.
Okay, this is Texas Monthly's list of the 16 most influential Texas sports icons
They better
of the
have
past 50 years.
Texas Rattlesnake on there.
We'll see. George Foreman,
Yeah, boom. He's whooping Lennox Lewis' ass.
Errol Spence Jr. He's a welterweight.
Boxer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Roger Staubach,
Yeah, Staubach, freak.
Patrick Mahomes.
At 26, are already in the best quarterback or football player of conversation of all time.
Okay, this one blows my mind. Okay, so sports writers, so it's figures, not athletes.
Yeah, throw him in there.
Yeah. Dan Jenkins, who wrote, I believe he wrote Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, he might have. I haven't seen the movie. I think I've only seen the show.
I haven't seen the movie either or the show, to be honest with you. But this one blows my mind, and this book is actually in this room right now. It's Basketball and Other Things by Shea Serrano.
I know that name.
Shea Serrano's books, including Basketball and Other Things, are illustrated by the same guy who the illustrations in our bathroom are from.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Coaches.
Yeah, probably all of them.
Darryl Royal
I don't know.
of University of Texas.
Does it say sport? Basketball? Football? Probably football.
Football.
Yeah.
Gotta be football. And Greg Popovich.
Yeah. I didn't know he was born there, but Popovich,
Mhm.
yeah, arguably top 5. I mean, not even arguably. Top 5 basketball coach in history of sport.
Baseball, Jose Cruz played for the Astros in 1974. National League's best kept secret. And current, Jose Altuve. He's a shortman.
Huh.
He's very short.
And that's all they got?
Game changers. Lee Trevino, Simone Biles.
Oh, Simone.
Yeah.
And the Queen Bee. Beyonce.
Beyonce.
I mean, Simone Biles alone probably crushes all those Canadian names.
Earl Campbell.
I know that name.
Played at UT. And Arch Manning.
Oh, yeah, all the Mannings. Yeah,
All
they're
the
fun.
Mannings,
Canada's fun.
yes.
Canada lost. Canada lost. All 3 Mannings? And the young gun is supposed to be crazy. I don't know.
Arch, yeah.
Is it
I think
named
he's
after the
the
grandpa? Yeah, he's going crazy. I think he's about to be sophomore in college. I forgot. But I think they say he's nutty, too. Yeah, you take both the Manning brothers and Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're done. Pat Mahomes could have played pro baseball, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
I hate the guy. He's very annoying, but he's a freako.
So this is an interesting category. Quarterback turned sportscaster. This is one that you guys will not know. Don Meredith, a.k.a. Dandy Don Meredith. He used to he was Howard Cosell's sidekick.
Oh, I know Cosell.
And then one of the 3. It was Frank Gifford,
I know that
Don
name, too.
Meredith, and Howard Cosell. And this one is really weird. I don't know who really believes this. Tony Romo,
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's still good.
but the things he just says obvious things. He just
Oh, an announcer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant football player.
yeah no
Yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about
Yeah, announcer, he's fine. He's fine.
He just says the most obvious things.
Yeah, he's like kind of the like cookie cutter
Yeah,
announcer. Yeah, he looks it, talks it.
yeah.
He's fine. But you're not gonna hate him either. There's some announcers you're like, God, this guy's annoying. You know, he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a wonderful. But yeah, that list is, I'm sure, missing football players like O linemen and shit.
Yeah, there was a Sports Illustrated list from 1999 that had 50 people on it, and I was not going to
Yeah.
go there.
No, Canada already lost. Sorry, guys. Texas whooped that ass.
This
They probably got better hockey players than you two. Let's face it.
So I'll rip through this list. Somebody else's list of top 10. Ben Hogan,
Yeah.
PGA. Byron Nelson, PGA. Sammy Ball, I don't know him. Quarterback, TCU. Tris Speaker Hubbard, don't know who that is. Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan, that wins too.
George Foreman. Earl Campbell. Bob Lilly. And there's a bunch of...
Kevin Durant, I don't know. I think he's born there. He definitely went to UT, and I feel like that's often a choice if you're born there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you're somewhere else, you're probably going to... A lot of East Coast guys end up in a Duke or a North Carolina. A lot of West Coast guys end up at a USC and a UCLA. Even though it's not obviously geographical,
Right.
it's kind of geographical.
Some of the honorable mentions.
Washington. He was born in Washington.
No way. I didn't know that.
Shows,
Oh, he's a Baltimore guy. Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from
yeah.
Baltimore. You're right. I knew he was from Baltimore.
Eric Dickerson, Cheryl
Yeah.
Swoops, Carl Lewis,
Charles Swoops? Yeah, freak.
Michael Johnson, AJ
Freak.
Foyt, NASCAR, or not NASCAR. I don't know if it was NASCAR.
Some kind of car driver.
Mike Singletary,
Yeah.
Lance Berkman.
Yeah, you're fucked, Canada. Population-wise, Texas whooping that athlete ass.
Yeah,
And yeah, we didn't even touch baseball. I'm sure there's baseball kids out of there.
yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
There's your history in sports, ladies and gentlemen. New episodes Wednesday, Friday. Ratings and review always helps. Share this out on your Twitter, Instagram, all that also helps. I'm Solid Mike. Where you find me, and we'll catch you in the next one.
I'm at the Jim McD on all the social media. The show is 50% facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. 50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you Friday.